What up, guys? That Comic Awesome here, doing another review, doing Dark Knights Rising: The Wild Hunt. And I liked this book. And honestly, I haven't really been following Dark Knights Metal. I know, sue me. But no, I haven't read pretty much any of them. I've read some of the one-offs of the origins of the Dark Knights, but I haven't read any Metal comics other than the Flash tie-in, which was Flash 33, which I assume kind of leads into this. I know was that the Bats Out of Hell run where Flash and then Cyborg and Raven go on a cyber adventure, not cyber adventure, time space adventure. So this kind of, I guess, picks up where that leaves off. The story is actually, again, even without not knowing, without knowing too much about Metal, this does a good job of catching me up and making me care. I mean, this book, as I was reading towards the end, I was like, oh man, what's going to happen? And this book did a good job of really making me kick myself for not reading Dark Knights Metal sooner. So if it's a light pull this week, I might try and find 1 through 5 and catch up, because I'm actually kind of interested in it now. So this kind of starts off, they kind of frame it around Detective Chimp, who kind of goes into this. He's I want to say drawing parallels. He's drawing parallels between his time and how he became Detective Chimp, and what is happening now. So he's having trouble remembering something, and he's like, when not being able to remember something reminds me of when I used to try and play music, and they kept wanting me to play D and C, and I had no idea what it was, and I didn't understand it. He's like, but I just kept trying to do it from memory. He's like, and they would beat me, and, but I realized that they only wanted me to do it because I would fail, and it would make me feel better about myself. But of course, there was one guy who was nice to him, but they ended up killing him. So Simeon escapes, kind of goes on a little venture. Swamp Thing cameo. They really need to do more with Swamp Thing. I wish they would kind of bring him back for a new run. He meets a wolf, and it's funny because they're kind of exchanging this really cheesy dialogue, and then Simeon's like, "Of course, we really didn't talk. It was more smells, gestures, and sounds. But we understood one another well enough." And so they're looking for this fountain of youth. So Simeon drinks from this fountain of youth, and he understands everything. He becomes able to understand logic. And through that, he figures out how to get the men that killed his friend arrested. And he kind of goes on the way. And this kind of sets up the story here, where he says, "Did I feel bad? Not at all. What I learned in detection is that all cruelty bellies from the same sin, lack of imagination. In other words, anti-music." So that kind of sets the tone that there is this, there's music and then anti-music and kind of light and dark and this and that in this universe, and and that's what the Dark Knights are about, this kind of disruption. So we cut, he's trying to use Red Tornado and these metal men to get a frequency to be able to get a message to Flash, Cyborg, and Raven. Meanwhile, one of the other doctors is kind of like, "Hey, look, we got some bigger problems than, the monkey trying to figure out." He's like, "I've been boiling, I boiled an egg this morning, but the temperature wasn't, 106 degrees. and my egg, was hard boiled. So again, without knowing too much about what is happening in metal, like it seems that again physics and the universe in general is just coming apart. It's unraveling. So Detective Chimp keeps trying to get a message out to the crew, and we kind of flash to the three on this. I want to say this music-driven ship they're trying to get to the House of Heroes, which is the heart of the multiverse. And it's funny, like I like this exchange between Cyborg and Flash. He's like, I'm concerned, Vic. You've been a little abstract. He's like, do you have any idea how much data I'm trying to parallel process at an extremely high speed, Flash? And he says, it's not something I have to deal with every day. He's like, I have a mother box in my chest from New Genesis. I'm part of a constantly upgrading super AI, wired into a living machine that runs on music. And he's like, Vic, bruh. He's like, I get it. First world superhero problems. And it's like, I kind of laughed at that because he's talking about all this stuff, like, he's like, I'm trying my best. He's like, I got all this like craziness going on. He's like, but in the grand scope of things, I mean, is it really the craziest thing that's ever happened? So they're being pursued through this like time stream. And again, the art in this is really cool. Like I like how they did Raven. The lighting on it, the coloring is very vivid. I definitely enjoyed it. Again, this book, I really liked it. So the Wild Hunt, which is all of the Dark Knights, are in pursuit of their ship, and they're on a ship powered by, you see here, like it's a baby universe. So it's a universe in its infancy that before it expands. So it's I guess almost like a nuclear or like an atomic drive. You get some really good dialogue where some of the Dark Knights almost seem like they're starting to question what they're doing. There's some great scuffles in here. So Flash ends up getting onto their ship and destroying the barrier of the baby universe, which eliminates that allows it to start expanding, because it's the energy that it expels as it's smaller, it's constantly struggling against that, therefore creating energy. If it's expanding, it's expelling that energy. So he destroys that. The positive energy is able to get out, and it turns Red Death into just Barry Allen again, because that was the neat thing about Red Death, is it was like a mixture of Bruce Wayne and Barry still in there struggling. And he says, I'm Barry Allen. Bruce is gone. The rage, the screaming. Bruce is insane. All of them are insane. How do we fix this? So he's now kind of turned good, but as the struggle continues, the one who laughs already kind of saw this coming, because he says here, he said, Red Death, well done. You played your part. You gave us you gave them one last taste of hope. He said, you realize, of course, I expected this weakness from you. You were only ever really half a Batman. I kind of liked that. So the plan was, during the fight, they were shooting these bombs at the Flash and Cyborg and Raven's ship. They were flying through the they call it the bleed. As they were flying through the bleed, they were hit with one of these bombs. Well, it comes out that these bombs each contain a baby dark universe. So it's like a dark nuclear bomb, like dark matter nuclear bomb that is now heading to the House of the Heroes, the center of all the multiverses, and that was the whole plan. They weren't trying to get there. They wanted the heroes to carry this this thing to the pretty much to the end of the universe for them. Again, there's a lot of really good stuff in here. I really enjoyed it. I'd highly recommend it. Again, this makes me want to go back and read Metal. If I do get a chance, I'll post some reviews up of that as well. But subscribe over here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and I'll see you next time.